Hi guys, today we're going to do a bike check on my beloved orange Alpine 6. The Alpine 6 has come an enormous way over 30 years of bike development, where it's transformed from Patriot into Alpine 160. Loads of other technology has gone into it, right through to today's Alpine 6. This bike can do anything and everything, and I do use it for everything, right the way from cross-country riding, getting miles in and exploring the countryside, right the way through to free ride, downhill, big jumps and adrenaline. And today I want to talk to you about the actual build that I've got. So we're going to go top to bottom and show you exact components. So let's have a walk through the bike. We're going to start at the top end and we'll work our way back. Arguably, the most important part to a bicycle is the front tyre. If your front tyre is rubbish, how on earth are you going to stay on the bike? Which is why I use what I believe is the best tyre you could put on. It's a Schwalbe Magic Mary. And like the Alpine 6, the Magic Mary has developed over the years and it's come through great stages to perform even better grip whilst giving good rollability. And yes, I made up that word. So I use an Addicts Compound Soft. I could go ultra soft, but I believe that creates a bit too much drag for me. So I use a soft compound, big knobbly tyres, and I know that no matter what surface I'm on, whether it's cross country, whether it's an urban downhill track, or my day-to-day trail stuff, I've got fantastic grip and great security, which is what you really need in a front tyre. Down from the tyre comes onto the wheels. Now I've gone through numerous sets of different wheels over the years and all sorts of different brands, which is why I was super pumped when DT Swiss said, look, Ben, we're gonna give you a set of wheels for the bike. These wheels are just bomb-proof. The EX1501 wheel set is utterly brilliant. I've had this on this bike for, I would say, about 9 months now, and I have not trued them, I have not adjusted a spoke, I have not dinked them. Yes, they might not look in great condition, but they have been hammered down urban downhills, Spanish rocks, Brazilian downhill stairs. They've done everything, absolutely everything I could possibly ask from them with no maintenance. And that's what the biggest thing to owning a bicycle is for me, low maintenance. I don't want to be replacing pivot bolts and truing wheels every time I go for a ride. I want to jump on it and I want to go riding because that's what I'm interested in. Moving on to the braking, again, arguably one of the most important factors to a bicycle is knowing that you can stop as and when you want to. And I've again used all the different bike brake manufacturers' gear over the years, and there's only one that stands head and shoulders above the rest. It's Shimano. Shimano Saints are what I've put on this bike. I've got 4 pistons that work simultaneously, super low maintenance, to the point where I couldn't even tell you when I last bled them. I don't actually know. I would have to guess 6 months ago, and still, boop, perfect performance, on and off. Just brilliant. And to go one further on the Shimano Saint brake is to change the pads for Uber Bike brake pads. So the Uber Bike components have been making different brake pads over the years, and the retail on them is just crazy. It's so low cost compared to Shimano ones. The compound that they've constructed gives so much more power, it's colossal. And the bedding them in process is just so simple. You ride down the road, 10 yards, pull your brake, stop, boom, brakes are ready to go, then you can hit the trails. They are fantastic and I wouldn't change that brake setup for anything. As we come back along the bike, you'll notice the beautiful Cane Creek Helm forks. Helm, yes, these are the bee's knees. So again, I started using Cane Creek back in the day when I couldn't really afford the higher end stuff. And then I realized after using the higher end stuff that these are better. So forget the price, the performance of these forks is just sublime. Again, super low maintenance. We maybe service them once a year, I don't know. And I do a lot more riding than the average rider. So these really are head and shoulders above the rest. Then you put them on paper and you look at the cost of these forks compared to their rivals, let's say, they're a fraction of the cost and they work way better. These are the bee's knees. These are what everybody should be running on the trail. Reliable, low cost, look amazing, let's face it. We've put blue decals on this one. You can get whatever you want on there. They are fantastic, and I'm so grateful for the guys at TF Tuned that hooked me up with these and put them on different bikes and tuned them in right for me. So the Cane Creek helm gives me 170mm of beautiful, smooth, buttery travel at the front, and I put 95 PSI of air into the chamber. As we come back along the bike, you'll probably notice the next big thing that is controversial compared to most of my rivals and a lot of other bikes out there is my handlebars. Now, I'm not sponsored by Renthal, I'm not paid to stand here and talk about the bars, but I really want to, because again, over the years, I've used so many different sets of handlebars. I've used carbon fiber ones, and I can't stress enough how they are awful. I've had good friends snap them numerous times, it's not once in a blue moon. I'm sure for cross country and real light use, that's fine. But as soon as you're using trail use, downhill, free ride, you know, extreme trails, you need to get yourself a proper set of alloy Renthal bars. Now I cut mine down, so a lot of people again will ride way too wide in my opinion, and they'll stay at like 800mm wide, which is lunacy. Again, if you could bring those in, suddenly you're a lot stronger. And now obviously everyone's different, but for the majority of people, I think you're running too wide bars and you want to cut them down to get into a more stable position, which is why I run my trail bike. Now all my bikes are very different, but my trail bike, which is, like we said earlier, used for everything, I run my handlebars on this bike at 770mm. Coming back from the handlebars, we go on to the stem, which is a really important factor to the bike and how it handles. And again, lots of people just bolt the stem on and off they go and ride. When in actual fact, 5mm, which is the height of one of these spacers, can make an enormous difference to the bike. As you can see, at the moment, we have got one big spacer, which is 10mm, and two smaller spacers, which are 5mm each. A lot of people would look at that and think it looks slightly strange. And in essence, it is. But the reason for this, if you imagine the bike is going downhill, the higher the stem, the easier it is. The lower the stem, the steeper the hill is. So as you can see, this bike is set up for a lot of downhill style trails, and I'm not too worried about the uphill. The headset itself, that is a Hope headset. Reliable, straight to the point, and again, low maintenance. That's what this whole bike is about. That headset went in when this bike was put together, again, I'm going to say about 9 months ago. I have not adjusted anything. I have not changed anything. I jet wash it to beyond its capabilities. People say I shouldn't jet wash a bike, and I completely agree. You shouldn't put the jet wash in there, but I do. I'm a naughty, naughty boy, and it still works. Staying at the front end of the bike for the last two bits, we've got two bits that mean a lot to me. This, you probably have seen in a lot of my videos, is a quad lock case. It's actually my phone. It is on solid. It is not coming off. I've crashed with these and the phone has always been fine. I've never, ever, ever had an incident with it. And it doesn't matter how bumpy it gets. I can promise you that will not move at all. Full stop. Last thing that really is the big difference on this bike for me on the bars is the bike yoke dropper seat post. It is milled to perfection. As you can see, push, buttery smooth, stays down. Push up, straight up, no problems, buttery smooth, the best dropper post out there, fact. As we move into the middle of the bike, the heavy artillery, which is the shock. Again, you could argue that that is a really important part to how the bike works, and especially on an orange where it's a single pivot platform, the shock needs to be set up right, and this one is sublime. So again, over the years, I've used all the different shocks, and I probably shouldn't say, but the Fox ones, I've blown up 6 of them. Yes, 6 Fox X2 shocks. I really shouldn't say that on camera, but I don't care. The Cane Creek double barrel air is utterly sublime. So going back to the frame, the Alpine 6, it has developed so far over the years, and to today where we've actually got a longer eye-to-eye length on the shock. Now this gives more control, more capacity in the shock, which allows us to ride better. Over the years, we've found that that is the ultimate length to get to, and we're really confident that it's going to stay like that for a very, very long time. So this shock on the new Alpine 6 gives a 165 millimeters of rear travel. This is the new metric shock, and this is the bee's knees. Whilst we're in the middle of the bike, I want to talk about the chain sets and the crank set. Now, again, over the years, I've used lots of different ones. Some are better than others, and to be honest with you, I don't have that big a preference. The one thing I do like about a crank set is the stiffness. I like to know that it's staying in a straight line at all times, and if I want to adjust it, then I move and it will come with me. I use the Hope crank set. Simple. This is a crank set that I have had for about a year and a half now. It has been battered, as you can see. It's gone through the mill, and yet I can guarantee it just runs perfectly smooth. It's not bent, it doesn't flex. On the end of my cranks is the brand new Uber Bike flat out pedal. The reliability of Uber Bike over the years has just been sublime. You cannot beat their products, you really can't, let alone the cost. I'm not even going to tell you how much these pedals cost because you would all be shocked. So go to their website and have a look and just check out how unbelievably good they are compared to their rivals. As we come to the back of the bike, one of the most customizable things you can do to your bike is change the drivetrain. How many gears you're running on the back, how many teeth you've got on the front chainring. All these things will change the ride. And for me, I'm trying to run this bike to do everything, which is why I've got a SRAM Eagle 12-speed on the back, which is my favorite drivetrain. I love the way that the SRAM shifts. On the front, I run a 34-tooth chainring. However, for every different race that I use this bike for, I customize the bike to do whatever the race is. So sometimes I do set it up with a 7-speed cassette on the back and some sort of chain device on the front with maybe a 36-tooth chainring. And lastly, to the drivetrain is obviously a SRAM EXO 12-speed Eagle shifter that works simultaneously with that drivetrain. Lastly is the tyre choice for the back of the bike. Now, some people would run the same front to back, but a lot of riders, like myself, opt for different. We don't need as much grip in the back that we do in the front. This is where the rolling resistance really affects you, so I try and take it down a notch in terms of grip, but still stay on the performance level. So I use a Schwalbe Hands Dampf on the rear. This is one of my favoured rear tyres on all of the different bikes I use. Again, with the Addix options that Schwalbe provide, you can go right the way through on the chain, and I use, again, towards the top end of level of grip, I use a soft compound on the rear. This is the perfect setup and the perfect bike. So to summarise, the orange Alpine 6. This is the bike for you if you want to go and ride everything. If you like mountain biking and you want to do your cross country with your mates, you want to go and hit some jumps and know that the bike's going to work and not break and not give you issues, this is the bike for you. And this is the setup that I choose.